One of the best feelings is finding a card that complements your setup perfectly, is versatile enough to use in different roles, and doesn't take away from any future opportunities in the credit card game that you may want to add into your wallet. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to this powerful blue card, the PayPal Debit. Now, this card is not perfect, and there's a bit of a brewing controversy going on behind the scenes, which is why I'm going to explain the good, bad, and potentially ugly so you can determine for yourself whether my opinion that it's so powerful is actually something that will be beneficial for your own setup. So let's get right on into it. All right, I want to level with you exactly where I'm at. I consider myself a very value oriented person and fairly picky with what I bring into my own wallet setup. And that being said, I like the PayPal debit card enough to add it into my own wallet as of March 2025. I've used this card at least multiple times a week since then, so about 4 months since I'm recording this video here today. And that's my perspective coming in with what I'm about to tell you. You may or may not agree, but that's just so you know exactly what my use and what my background with this card is. Today, I'm gonna lay out everything. I'll introduce the card and show you a lot of behind the scenes about how the product actually works. I'll show you the 5 things that I've seen since getting this card that I think make it overpowered compared to everything else that's out there and available right now. However, I have to tell you the weaknesses, things I haven't liked, and explain the brewing controversy with this card, which could completely change the use case and make it not worthwhile adding into your wallet setup. By the end of this, you'll be able to make the decision whether it's right for you or simply a product that you want to pass up on and doesn't deserve your time. Let's explain this card starting at the foundation. I want to be clear, we are talking about the debit card version of this PayPal product. There is a darker blue PayPal credit card, which is the PayPal Cashback MasterCard, which is not what we're talking about. I think the PayPal debit card is actually a much stronger product in my opinion. That's because this card earns 5% cash back, up to $1,000 of spend in your choice of one of 5 categories that have to be activated inside of the app at the beginning of the month before you start earning cash back. Those categories are restaurants, apparel, fuel, groceries, and rideshare or transit. Now, this card will not earn you anything if those categories are not activated. Also, even if you activate a category, it will not earn you any sort of cashback or rewards on purchases made outside of those categories. And that's it. It's very straightforward. And hey, the simplicity of this card is something that's actually a benefit, not a negative. But if you're feeling underwhelmed by that explanation, let me just show you what this sort of earnings can actually do. Let's compare the PayPal debit to something like the Citi Double Cash Card, a standard 2% benchmark cashback card. And let's look at the difference in spending in, say, the restaurant category, which the average family of 4, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics in a calendar year, will spend about $4,470 on restaurant purchases. Well, if you go in and just spend on a benchmark basic 2% card, you're going to make back in cashback rewards for your restaurant spend just under $90 a year. However, if you take the time and put that restaurant spend in the PayPal debit card and earn in that 5% category, well, those cashback earnings will top $223 a year. Think about this not just in 1 year, but multiple years over and over and over. And say you have a slightly bigger family than the average, well, those rewards and the value of that card, that'll just increase. Hopefully, I have your attention now. However, that's not all that makes this card so special. Here are the 5 areas that I see that make this card actually overpowered compared to anything else we have out here today. First, let's just get this clear. There are levels to this thing. I like to think of earning cash back as a pyramid where you could start as a beginner and work your way up to the more advanced cards that are actually really optimized and most easy to use. If you don't care about getting extra cash back really for free, and you're willing to throw the over $130 of difference away between a 5% card and a baseline 2% card, you're probably fine in living on the baseline level, what I call something like the Citi Double Cash or the Fidelity Visa, which is simply swiping one card, earning 2% on all purchases, and just being okay with that at the end of the day. However, like a lot of people, you want to tier up, and that's where you get into your level one cards. These are cards like the Saver Rewards or the US Bank Altitude Connect, where they'll earn excess rewards above and beyond 2% in some specific categories, but you have to keep track of what those categories are and remember what the card does well versus what it doesn't do well, and mix in a number of different cards to meet your spending needs. If you're willing to advance another level to a level 2 kind of card, you're looking at cards like the Discover It or the Chase Freedom Flex, where you're earning that holy grail now of up to 5% cash back. However, you have to give up some things for level 2, which is why they're not at the peak of the pyramid yet. You're sacrificing consistency. These cards have rotating categories, have to be activated, and they have pretty tight spending caps for what you're allowed to spend in before you're capped out and back to earning 1%. If you get your hands on a level 3 card, these are the best of the best. You're earning 5%. The ceilings are pretty high for how much you can spend in, and the use of it is actually really easy. I put the PayPal debit card right alongside the Citi Custom Cash as the best of the best that you can earn 5%, and it doesn't come with too many strings attached. Now, the next thing that has to be appreciated about the PayPal debit is the categories are valuable and they're versatile. Here's exactly what I mean. We know for a fact what people tend to generally spend in. The Bureau of Labor Statistics lays out categories and how much people typically spend, and we can break that down by what is typically charged to a credit card. The PayPal debit offers some insanely good categories that you can opt into and get 5% back on your spend there. We've got groceries, which is the third biggest spending category for typical people out there. Restaurants at 5, fuel at 8, and apparel at 9. This compares to other credit cards that don't do a good job of giving you enhanced rewards in categories that actually matter, maybe like the Southwest Rapid Rewards Plus card, a card that gives you 2x back as their elevated category in things like Southwest Airlines purchases, rideshare and transit, and 2x back on internet, cable, and phone streaming. That's not to say that people don't spend any money in these categories. It's just to say that most people don't spend a lot of money in these categories. So the enhanced rewards in those, well, at the bottom line, they don't make that much of a difference, unlike the PayPal debit, where you can actually stack some serious rewards. Speaking of stacking rewards, the next thing that I've loved about this card that's made it so overpowered is you can actually stack rewards on top of the 5% cashback category by going to the offers inside of the PayPal app. For example, if your chosen category is dining, well, right now, if you're grabbing food at Taco Bell, you can select and add an offer inside the PayPal app that will get you a ridiculous 20% cashback on your order when paying with the card. When you pay with the card, you'll get the 20% back on your order, plus you'll get the additional 5% for that being a category purchase. This is a much higher offer example than what you typically see. However, it's not uncommon for you to be able to stack offers and earn 7 to 8% cash back at specific retailers and at brands. The next thing I want to fill you in on that just made this card a game changer and was the moment I decided to add it into my wallet is when I realized what is considered under the grocery umbrella that will earn 5% for this card. For the longest time, I had been looking for a credit card that gets enhanced rewards when shopping at Walmart, because that's where my wife and I do almost all of our grocery spend. The PayPal debit card is one of the only cards out there that earns you enhanced rewards at Walmart. It doesn't stop there, however. You can also select grocery as your spending category and not only earn enhanced rewards at Walmart, but you could do so at wholesale clubs like Costco and other similar brands. Now, obviously, Walmart does not sell exclusively groceries, so I've gotten some insane cash back when checking out at Walmart and just buying a wide variety of things that still fall under the 5% bonus category. Now, this has always felt too good to be true, and maybe it is, and I'll explain what's going on behind the scenes and why there's a bit of a brewing controversy with this card and its grocery category, but we'll talk about that in just a second. The last thing I want to hit for you that I appreciate so much about this card is the pure simplicity. So many different cards, like I said before in the pyramid, have strings attached, especially as you get closer and closer to earning 5% cash back. What I appreciate so much about the PayPal debit is this card is just frictionless. It's so easy to remember that whenever we're at the grocery store, we pull out the PayPal debit card and that's our grocery card and it never comes out for anything else. All I have to do is set a reminder repeating monthly on my phone to activate grocery as a 5% category on the first day of the month. Okay, let's get into the downsides. A couple weaknesses And I want to give my opinion on the brewing controversy that I've hinted that is on this card and starting to happen right now. First, let me talk through what I consider the weaknesses of holding this card. This is truly a one-trick pony. Once you select your category, you cannot use it for anything else. It doesn't even earn 1% cash back if you happen to accidentally spend on it outside of that category. If you don't remember that and start using this card for everything, you're going to be leaving a lot of potential rewards on the table. Second, to make purchases on this card, you've got to create a PayPal account and then preload money that just sits in that account waiting to be spent in your 5% category. It is, of course, a debit card, and that's how debit cards work. They have to draw from an existing source of funds. However, I've also experienced some troubles getting bank transfers from my typical Chase account over to PayPal and having that money sitting there ready to go. There's an automatic reload feature, which in theory should work really well, where anytime your balance dips below a certain point, I set mine at 300, then I have it set to reload an automatic additional $300 until it again dips below 300 where it would reload again. I continue almost every single time it dips below that balance to get errors and notifications saying the transfer of additional funds hasn't gone through. Every single time it eventually does, but it typically takes 3 to 4 days to add the additional money into the account. For me, the 5% cashback was worth it, but I understand for all people it may not be. Let me end with the controversy that is small now, but could become a much bigger deal with this card and may actually completely affect whether you want to get it or not. When I was sitting down working on creating this video for you all, I received a very disturbing alert about the PayPal debit card. And that was that data points were coming through, that Walmart.com and Walmart online purchases, even those that included groceries, were no longer being accepted as a 5% bonus category on PayPal. Of course, I checked immediately, and what I saw, and you could see it here in the screenshot in this video, was that purchases in the new month were receiving absolutely no rewards points. And that included not just Walmart.com, but all discount stores as well. Now, in addition to this being very annoying for someone who is really relying on Walmart.com and Walmart online grocery pickup as being a 5% category, this also fueled the rumors that this card is going to be absolutely a target for nerfing because it's just too powerful in its current state. Now, I do want to be clear. While Walmart.com and online groceries do not work, you can still go in-store, purchase groceries from Walmart, and that will code as 5%. Even though discount stores like Aldi have been eliminated from the grocery category, 5% at wholesale clubs when grocery is selected still works. This will keep a lot of people very happy. However, I don't know how long this is going to last, that stores like Costco will still be included in that 5% grocery because really there is just so much value being offered out by PayPal. I don't know if it's sustainable in the long run to keep that level going with this card. So with all of this considered, looking forward, is the PayPal debit worth it? In short, yes, even though there have been some recent nerfs which have hit me personally pretty hard, I still think this has been one of my favorite cards of 2025. Even if you went ahead and told me that Walmart in person had been cut out from this card, I'd still recommend it to the vast majority of people because of that versatility and being able to move the 5% into a different category. What if that $1,000 very generous spending ceiling got lowered to $750 or $500? I still think it's an add into a lot of people's wallet. Now I want to hear from you. You know I feel strongly that this is a positive add. If you're on the other side though, tell me why this isn't a good play in your wallet or why you just don't think the card is worth it here today. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.